don't remember which names I've called myself already. I call myself honey hands. I call myself iron arm. All right, I got one. Ready? Are you ready? Ooh-wee! Welcome back to Chef Sawyer Sunday. I'm Chef Sawyer, aka Sawyer the Destroyer. And today, I have a very special video for you. Today we're cooking a grilled skirt steak with some grilled asparagus, some crispy, delicious potatoes seasoned with some rosemary and Parmesan cheese, and I'm gonna be making a homemade chimichurri sauce. Chimichurri sauce! Let's get to it. First things first, let's get our potatoes in some boiling water. We want them to par cook, which means not all the way. Wait until they're knife tender and then pull them out because we're gonna fry them and get them crispy. We have to marinate our steak, and a marinade is gonna consist of some sort of acid. I'm using a lime. You can use lemon juice, white vinegar, but the point of the acid is it tenderizes and it flavors the meat. We have some nice, high quality, extra virgin olive oil. Very simple, salt and pepper. We flipped it over and we're just gonna do the same thing. So you can add as many seasonings to this as you would like, but at the very minimum, you need olive oil, acid, salt and pepper. And it's gonna make a world of difference in the end product. After you have your steak fully marinated, wrap that up, stick it in your fridge, and let it marinate for anywhere between 1 and 4 hours. It's time to make our chimichurri. We have a half of a red onion here. Break that down to a quarter. We don't exactly need to finely chop it or anything, because what we do now is we take it with our garlic and we throw it right into our magic bullet. If you have a blender works better, but a little machine like this still works great as well. Here I have 1 cup of white vinegar. And now we have 1 bunch of cilantro and 1 bunch of parsley. And we do need the full bunch of parsley, but the cilantro is much stronger, so we only need half of this bunch. I just take it off right above where the tag is. I bundle it all up together, and I just give it a rough chop. You don't need to go too fine on this because we're gonna blend it as well with the onion and the garlic. Now, a chimichurri sauce is traditional from South America, and it's an excellent sauce to serve with any sort of meat, but beef in particular. Grilled beef is usually what it's paired with. Now we take our bundle of parsley and our half bundle of cilantro and just throw it all into the blender with the garlic and the onion. Very fragrant sauce, great all times of year, nice and herbaceous, and just very refreshing, to be honest. It's got its acidity, it's got nice olive oil, and it's a great pairing for many foods. We have our parsley, our cilantro, our garlic, our red onion, and our white vinegar. And that's all the sauce needs. Super simple and quick. All that we have to do now is season. It's gonna get salt, black pepper, non-negotiable. Chimichurri needs red pepper flakes. A little bit of heat makes the sauce go a long way. And now we're gonna blend this up and mix in some olive oil at the end to finish. Give it a whirl. So that's looking pretty good. You do want the herbs to be kind of chunky. It is a chunky sauce. You just don't want huge pieces of onion or garlic in there. That's looking great. We still have to add the olive oil to it, which will only enhance the flavor, but I'm just gonna check for the seasoning now. When you're checking for taste, what you want to pay attention to is the acidity levels, the salt levels, the garlic, the onion, all of your flavoral components. If you don't taste enough garlic, throw 1 more clove of garlic in there. If you think it needs a little more vinegar, just give it a little more vinegar. In my case, I need slightly more salt. I need some more heat in there, some more red pepper flakes. But the garlic flavor, the onion flavor, the acid levels, it was all great. I just needed a little more heat and a little more salt. Give it 1 more quick whirl. Done. When your potatoes are knife tender, go ahead and just drain them into a colander in your sink and run some cold water over them to slow down their cooking process. When I say knife tender, I mean you take a knife and you just go ahead and test the biggest potato. And when it enters easily with no resistance, that's perfect. Perfect doneness. Smash them like this, press down on it, and now we're gonna fry this. And it comes out amazing. It's basically gonna be like tostones with a potato, because you cook it once, you flatten it, and then we fry it crispy, and it comes out, It's time to finish up the chimichurri, and all that's left to do is add a good amount of some nice high quality olive oil and mix that in and give one final taste for seasoning. Amazing. The sauce is perfect just like that. That olive oil you add at the end really helps bring this to the next level. When I was in culinary school, it was steak day. It was the day for everybody to cook steaks. And my buddy, who knew a lot more about steaks than I did because he worked in Outback at the time, he said, you should do a chimichurri with yours. And I had never even heard of the sauce. But I just went to Google, I opened up the first recipe I saw, I kind of just memorized the recipe and the techniques a little bit, and I went into the classroom and I guessed, kind of, like I did everything to eyeball, I didn't measure anything. And the chef, he tastes my dish, and he says, everybody stop what you're doing. He stopped the whole class and he said, everybody come up to this front desk right now. And I'm thinking, oh no, this is not good. And then he said, Sawyer's chimichurri came out absolutely perfect, and every single student in the class needs to taste this right now. That's exactly what it should taste like. Our chimichurri, done. Our steak, marinated. Potatoes, done. The next thing to do, asparagus. We're gonna be grilling the asparagus with the steak, and unless you have really nice, beautiful, thick asparagus, this isn't really that. I just cut it off right above the rubber band. That keeps cleanup easy, and it also helps you avoid any of these stemmy, woody bits. Seasoning is super simple for this one. Asparagus, get just a light drizzle of olive oil, some salt, some black pepper, and a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder. Just a light sprinkle of each of them. Go ahead and mix this all up and just make sure it's evenly coated. And now it's time to light the grill and get it hot. Here we are at the grill. Nice and scorching hot, that's how you want it, maximum heat. I have this rag here that I just have coated in some olive oil. And this is gonna serve two purposes. Number one, it cleans the grill. Look at all that, you're better off without that on your food. And number two, it lubricates the grill so your food will not stick. We're way better without all that. Clean off your tongs. I have my marinated skirt steak here. You want it right atop the hottest part of the grill, direct heat. And now, alongside your steak, you're good to go ahead and take your asparagus. And these are both gonna take no more than 5 minutes. The asparagus, probably a little less. The steak, probably just about 5. 2.5 minutes, flip it, 2.5 minutes. We're getting a nice good sear on that steak. Just mix up your asparagus. Make sure it doesn't get too black or charred on any side. Once your steak is nice and brown and crispy on the outside, it's the perfect time to flip it. You can see our steak is beautifully grilled. Nice Maillard reaction all the way around. This is the perfect time to pull it off, and it's been about 6 minutes or so since I started. We're gonna take our asparagus off. And you can see the nice good char marks we have on there, not too soft and overcooked. And we can take our steak and put it right on top in the same pan. No problems with that, they're getting served together. And that looks fantastic. When you're done with your steak, time to get to the potatoes. Super simple. Take a potato, take a flat palm, and press it down. Now you don't want to go too flat or else it'll fall apart. You see how this still holds its shape? That's exactly what you want. A little flat, a little smash, some ridges coming out. That's perfect. Just go through your whole sack of potatoes and smash them all. Like so. Take your potato, smash it. Take a potato, smash it. Smash, smash, smash. Ta-da! Pluck some fresh rosemary. I just take my fingers and I run it kind of against the grain. And since rosemary is very hard and woody, I do give it a very fine chop. If I'm not cooking with it, I make sure it's almost like a dust. Chewing on a big piece of rosemary can be not very fun. Here's our very finely chopped rosemary. Just go ahead and scoop it up and reserve it to the side in a little ramekin. I have my smashed potatoes here, my hot oil, and I'm just gonna place them in gently. Once the potatoes enter the hot oil, give them about 2 minutes, let them get crispy on one side, and then flip them over and let them get crispy on the second side. Or, if you have enough oil, you can deep fry them, and they'll be in the hot oil about 4 to 5 minutes, just kind of like a French fry would. You see the potatoes starting to get perfectly golden brown on the bottom, like these two? That's when it's time to flip them. Once your potatoes have had time to get crispy on both sides, take them out of the oil, give them a little shake for the excess to fall off, and place them onto a paper towel lined plate. As soon as you pull the potatoes out of the hot oil, they just need a dusting of salt, and the hot oil melts the salt and helps it bind to the food. So that's the best time to season it. Now we're just gonna finish off the rest of the potatoes we have here. I have these beautifully crispy potatoes, nice and crunchy around the outsides, golden brown, like a hash brown on the outside and a French fry in the middle. They're just perfect. And they're gonna get even better when we season them with rosemary and Parmesan Reggiano. Rosemary, same thing with the salt. Right after they're done frying, hit them with a little bit now and save about half for when you plate up to garnish. The skirt steak, the grain runs this way. You can see it runs straight down the steak. And you don't want to slice it with the grain. You always want to slice your steak against the grain, which means I'm going to turn it and I'm going to slice it this way. And you can see here, there's a bunch of little different segments of meat. That's exactly how you want it. Now I'm going to slice this in half, just so that we don't have pieces of steak that are 1 foot long. Trim each steak against the grain. And this is how a skirt steak is supposed to be. You can see it's beautiful. We have a nice medium rare in the middle with our chimichurri, our asparagus, our crispy potatoes. Everything is gonna go so good together. We have our beautifully marinated, beautifully grilled skirt steak here. And now it's time to plate it up and put it all together. A nice big beautiful pile of our charred grilled asparagus. Throw that sliced skirt steak right on top. You can't beat that. Take some of those beautifully crispy potatoes and just decorate and garnish around your plate, top and bottom, wherever they fit. Make it look pretty, people. Crunchy, cheesy, gooey, herbaceous, deliciousness-ny goodness. Look at that, you can't beat that. Except you can when you add chimichurri on top and some Parmesan Reggiano. The rest of our freshly chopped rosemary right over the top of the potatoes. Fresh Parmesan Reggiano. Just give it a nice, fresh grating over the top. A generous portion of cheese to each and every potato. I'm drooling watching this. Crispy, cheesy, rosemary, Parmesan potatoes. So with how much olive oil you need to add to your chimichurri, it is normal that it separates like that. That's totally normal, especially after you refrigerate it, it will do that. So just when you're ready to serve, mix it up, get all the herbs and everything off the bottom mixed in with the oil, and then that's perfect. That's ready to go just like that. After you slice your steak, just give it a little bit of more salt on top. So we have our beautifully grilled asparagus, our juicy marinated tender skirt steak, our crispy rosemary Parmesan potatoes all around, and the piece de resistance, our nice homemade spicy, vinegary, garlicky chimichurri right on top of the steak. That's exactly how a steak plate should look. Oh yeah, you can't get enough of that sauce. Throw some on the potatoes, throw some on the asparagus. You won't go wrong because this stuff is good on everything. And there you have it. Voila, Chef Sawyer's skirt steak plate. Good. These cheesy rosemary potatoes couldn't be better. Nice and crunchy, soft, tender, very buttery, just naturally this type of potato is. and it's just the perfect accompaniment to a steak. Our steak, our chimichurri, an excellent combination. You can see perfectly medium rare. Our sauce is chunky as it should be. Tender, seasoned perfectly, and just the ultimate meal. Go ahead and try this one out at home. Thank you everybody for coming back week after week to support Chef Sawyer. It means the world to me, and I am very humbly thankful for each and every one of you. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your mom about it. And I'll see you guys next week. Au revoir. Cut!